Namaste. A warm welcome. It's been a very long time since I have spoken or come on live sessions. I've had many questions as to is everything okay? Where have I disappeared? You're not to be seen online. You're become very silent. We are missing you. We miss your talks. I've heard a lot. I truly am grateful that I have had people getting in touch with me, people checking whether everything is okay. Why am I not around? Why have I not come onto my live sessions? So I'm going to start off with my sessions with a bang, and I'm going to be talking firstly as to why I was not there and why I was not part of the live sessions. And one such reason is change. Change is something you and I go through with our day-to-day life. It is part of who we are. It helps us evolve. It brings a new perception. At times we are ready for change. At times we can never be ready for change, no matter what we say. I've had requests to talk about a lot of things. I've had requests to put up talks on shamanism. I've had requests to put up talks on various other issues and topics. I choose to start with change. Why is it that it took me this long to come back, and did I have resistance to change? I may put a series of talks on change, but let's see how the conversations go, because like I always say, everything is divinely guided and it's all as per divine will. If I'm sitting here at this very moment on this talk and giving this entire conversation, is because I'm meant to do it today at this very moment and time. Now, here I am. So talking about change, like I said, we are never ready for change. Even if we are ready, we need to come to terms with certain things that happen in our space, and how can we be resilient? How do we accept the change as it comes, and how do we move on without getting caught, without getting stuck, without sitting in a space of denial, without going into a space where we feel, why me? I don't deserve this, or I'm not ready for this, or various other things. How do we deal with it, and how do we move ahead? So one such thing is, I always look at it. I take my examples from my own life and share. I don't need anybody's permission because it's my own personal experience, which makes me the clear decision maker whether I want to discuss it or not. So last year, I went through a phase where I had my younger child ready to fly out of the nest, go for higher studies, and there was a lot happening in my space. I have had a couple of series with him where we've sat and had conversations, and I am going to be bringing him back soon for a couple of conversations, but that is a little later. So in the midst of it, I have spoken about being prepared and are we ever ready. So in this whole process, though I speak and though I work with others and though I help people, I went into a space with being ready and prepared and telling myself that I'm not going to break down. I'm not going to go into a space where I'll have to gather myself back and put myself together. No matter what I told myself, no matter how much I counseled myself, put myself through it, as a mother, I did go through it. It was very painful. It was difficult. The emptiness hit home hard. It hit into my belly beyond what I could think about. Being a mother and suddenly, like, not having, like, I have two children. So before my elder boy hears it and thinks that I'm saying it just for one, both my boys are grown up, and in that having to move on and having to accept and having to let go and bringing things together and holding things together became that much more difficult for me, because my entire life revolved and evolved all around my children, and having one child not at home became that much more difficult for me to accept change. I went through the various stages. I sat in denial. I sat into various kind of mood swings. I got into a lot of arguments with my child because I wanted it my way and I'm not ready to see his way. And I knew all this was my own way onto holding on to things which I was not ready to let go. And my biggest fear was to let go. My biggest fear was, what if, he spreads his wings and flies and never returns home. So I had a lot of apprehension, fear, concern. I did go with a month later to settle him, to make sure everything is okay. It put me in a space, because I realized that he was very comfortable. He had everything going beautifully, and he'd already made a life for himself. Whereas for me, my life had stuck the moment he left home. I didn't know anything beyond that. I didn't know how to move ahead. I had no clue how to pick up my pieces and how to accept change, how to respect boundaries, how to move forward without sitting in a space of denial and not letting go. So we were, two of us, fencing. He had moved on. He was ready to explore. Did he miss me? Of course, but he's a young kid. There was the world out there for him. He was seeing the world and he was ready to accept the change, whereas I was seeing the world and I was fearful and not ready to accept the change. So there lied the difference. It became very difficult. I was there for almost about 2 months, settling him. It was very painful. When I was there, I was missing home. I was missing my husband and my elder son. But at the same time, I was there for him. So I was torn between the two places. It was that much more difficult for me because I'm committed to my family and I'm committed to my clients. So when I had my clients messaging me, when I had my clients calling me, there were some people I said I'm not taking any cases, because I was in a space where I did not want anything new coming into my space. I was not ready. I was not prepared to look into anything because I was dealing with my own baggage. So in a process of dealing with this and in a process of going through what I went through, there's a lot that I understood and I learned, because I used to walk by myself in the parks and the gardens. And when I used to be by myself, and at times I used to wait for him, I used to think that, okay, he's going to come now, he's going to join me for a cup of tea. I would wait outside his university for him to step out so that he could come and spend time with me, and we both could go and have a cup of tea and talk. It put me into deep thinking. Sitting there a lot, I thought I should come and do a lot of live sessions because my thinking was that much more deeper and intense. But I just chose to be by myself because I realized the only way I was going to deal with this, and the only way was I able to come to terms with it, was to face it, and there was no option for it. There was no other choice for me but other than facing reality, and the reality was that he had stepped out of the house for his higher education, and that's the life he chose, and that's his dream. And being his mother, I have to support him, and I have to accept the change as it comes, because this is life. At one point, I was 19, I was 20. I've also been yearning to step out of home, go and live a life, enjoy life, explore life. So that's exactly what I see my child doing. So what in me is stopping this from happening? What in me is not ready to accept the change was my biggest question. Also, one of the reasons why I took my own sweet time to bring everything, gather everything, put everything together to come and sit here and have this entire conversation about change. It's never easy. It's never easy, come what may, what people say. I've had people telling me, oh, come on, he's just going for his education. And I just don't understand why you're kind of so like in pieces. You're going to be seeing him every other month because you won't be staying away from him. And I've had a lot of people making light of it, laughing, just brushing it away. But that's fine. They all mean well to me because they all care for me. And they were trying to make light of it so that I see it in the lighter sense, or have this sense of humor to see it in a lighter way and move on with life. Did I move on with life? Yes. Did I accept the change? Yes. But the journey of me accepting the change was not easy. And that's what here I'm talking all about. So today I end this conversation just with this about how and why I kind of slow down from my routine of doing something, because I had a change which, though I was prepared for, though I wanted it, though I accepted it, I had to deal with it, and it became that much more difficult for me. Being prepared mentally and emotionally, having all the support from friends and family, in spite of that, it took me time to accept and move on with change. So, having said that now, and coming up and speaking about it brings reality out to the whole world. So, do stay tuned to hear more from me. You would hear from me soon. And up until then, I wish you well, wish you a beautiful day. And thank you so much for all those who joined in to hear me speak, and for all those who are going to watch. And now that since I'm starting the sessions again, please put in your requests for what kind of talks you would like, what you would want me to address, and I would be more than happy to address these and speak about it. Thank you so much, and I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you.